Yeah, I hear ya.
No, you listen. You guys locked me out on the patio, and I politely tapped on the window.
Whoa, time out. With your gun.
Debatable.
The weekly hangover. This will probably hurt, but you'll be thirsty for more.
Welcome back, y'all. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I'm going to be holding down today. I'm Dan. I got a quick episode for y'all, and I did get the chance to talk to my good longtime friend Kevin on the phone. He's an outdoorsman extraordinaire, former wild boy, former cornerman, current husband, not mine, wrestling coach, and the proud owner of a comb-over haircut. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of local truths and small urban legends, Kevin Filiberto.
Yo,
Hey, what's up, man?
what's going on?
Not much, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, bro. Tell me about your weekend. How's it been going?
Pretty good. As you know, my wife, Alyssa, she was out of town for it, so I got to do all my fun outdoor adventure stuff. So I went hunting 4 times over the weekend, fishing twice. So it was nice. It was a good weekend, but I'm super wiped from it now because I just went like nonstop the whole time.
That's awesome, man. How big was the deer that you shot the other day?
It was pretty small. I'm not gonna lie, it was not that big, but it was cool. I was just happy to get the first one out of the way, and now I'm looking for the big ones, or anything else that walks in front of me. There's a reason that one didn't get posted to social media. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, it did look like, I mean, it was a small doe, but it still looked bigger than anything that I've shot. So
Yeah, it wasn't like a fawn or anything, but yeah, it just wasn't that big, but that was fine.
did you clean it yourself, or did you take it to get it processed, or what?
I actually didn't do anything with this one because I was going to donate it, so I didn't even bother gutting it because the place I was dropping it off at, they can do all that. So since I knew I was just going to donate it, I just took it straight there and let them have all that fun.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of fun. Do you remember when you, Jordan, and I went hunting and you shot your first deer?
Yeah, and Jordan got the whole thing for me, and I thought he was going to lose his wedding ring in that.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been the first or the last time he lost his ring. Him and I were in Nags Head, and we were out on the beach, swimming, just doing that whole thing. And he came back up, and he was like, "Oh man!" And he was pointing at his ring, and I said, "Where's your ring, bro?"
That would be the end of me if I lost my actual ring. Thankfully, I have a little that silicone one that I wear probably most of the time.
Oh, for sure, like the Kalo ring.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, the following summer, we were, back in Nags Head again in Kildover Hills, and Jordan lost his Kalo ring.
That sucks. I did lose one of my Kalo rings. I think one of my students stole it, but it's a lot better to lose like a $20 ring than, I don't know how much the other one is, but a lot more than that.
Than a $21 ring?
Yeah, probably.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Kendall, Corey's cousin, him and I, we were definitely trying to go shoot my bow, but we haven't had any chances lately. Like, we were gonna go shoot at Jordan's, but
sounds like an excuse.
Yeah, it is 100%. I'm trying to make an excuse for an excuse, but no, it's an excuse. Dude, did you see any of the fights this weekend? I know, we talked a little bit about it, the fights that were coming up, but did you see any of them?
Oh yeah, I watched. So I watched all the ones that were free, obviously, on FS1, and then I, without admitting to anything, I tuned in to the main card, but I didn't watch all the main card. Kind of watched the ones I was really into.
Dude, the free ones are actually pretty good. Like,
man,
did you see Lando Venata? I think that's his name, and Bobby Green.
Yep, that was the best fight.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Like, well, the guy Lando Venata lost 1 point for that illegal knee. Do you remember seeing that?
The knee, yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it was Then it definitely turned into a draw. But it was. I definitely think the Lando Venata guy won, but then at the end, I think Bobby Green pulled it out. But it came to a decision to a majority draw or whatever.
Yeah, split draw.
Was it?
I think one guy had it 29-28 for Veneta. I think one had it 29-28 for Green or whatever, and then one had it as a draw. So it was crazy. But I think a draw was the right call for that fight. I couldn't believe it, man. It was crazy. They both, like the first round, Veneta probably would have finished it if he didn't throw that illegal knee. And then if Green teed off, I mean, Green almost knocked him out in the last 10 seconds. I thought he was about to end it right there. Yeah. So that was one heck of a fight. And it's Bobby Green, right? Is that his first name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bobby Green, dude. He could be a monster, man. You could see him kind of like wake up during that fight, you know, like that first round, he was just not all there. Mm-hmm. And then as he started getting into it, he started getting like groovy, you know, like he was rolling his shoulders and talking trash. And I was like, oh, he's about to come away with it. And then he at least battled back through time. But that was a heck of a fight. I loved that.
No, it was such a good fight. You remember my buddy Braden Clements, right?
Yeah.
He's actually trained with him. Like he showed me photos with him. Like, so yeah, this was, cool. Probably like 2 years ago, but it's still pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
the girl fight on the prelims, Pearl something and the other girl, that was like the worst fight. I thought that was like such a bad performance. I was like, man, but they at least Bobby Green and Breda made up for it.
I mean, it was a bad performance, but I don't know if it was as bad as, my performance when we went to Danville.
I think you would have beat the girls, if that counts for anything.
Probably not.
I will forever blame the Danville fight on the weight cut that you had to go through.
Well, for anyone that doesn't know, when Kevin and I Kevin was my corner man, and we trained every day, sometimes twice a day. But this was when we were in college, so we did the best with what we could, and the weight cut. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember how much we lost, but like it was definitely the hardest weight cut I've ever done. It was
it was a lot.
And
I remember, I would try to do all the same workouts with you. I wouldn't do the just running stuff, and I didn't wear any of the sweatpants and all that stuff. And then I would eat whatever the heck I wanted, and I was still dying from like not even doing as much. And I just remember that the last night of like your push for to drop the rest of that water weight to get down, you were passing out, falling asleep. Literally, you probably don't remember this. They're trying to cool off, so we're walking down the road to the bus stop, and you just take your shirt off and lay down on the cold, wet pavement because it was raining. I was like, man, this dude is gonna die right in front of me. And sure enough, after all that, we missed weight anyway.
Well,
that weight cut was a nightmare.
I think we had to get down to 155, right? I think that was that fight.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we got down to like 156 point something. So I was like 1 pound over the limit. So like they give you a pound, and then I was over that. So
yeah.
But
yeah, that was nuts. I was just like, we did the sauna and the dorm shower, and that was just wild. But it was that was a tough weight cut, and that was a tough fight anyway. That dude was a hoss, man.
Yeah, he's actually back in Russia now, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, probably pounding on some other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that dude was like a serious good fighter though. Sometimes whenever you watch like amateur fights, you never know what you're going to get. You get some people that just think they're like tough dudes and want to go and, try to impress their girlfriend or something. And then you get some guys like him where he's a real deal fighter. So it was good.
Yeah. He did good.
Yeah. I also remember you had the broken tooth for that. Do you remember that drive home?
Oh yeah, I remember 100%. I was in most pain I've ever been in.
Yeah, you were. We spent the whole car ride home. It was like an hour and a half ride home or something. And you had your head in your hands. And in my mind, I was like, man, he's really upset over losing that fight. And then you were like, I need to get this tooth pulled right now. And I was like, oh, well, he doesn't give a crap about the fight.
No. I knew I lost the fight, whatever, cool, let's get some freaking McDonald's or whatever. But
yeah.
But no, I had a broken tooth prior. Like, I don't know. I broke it on like a popcorn kernel or something unreasonable.
Yeah.
It was excruciating. I just needed some ibuprofen and then to take out that tooth. But that was pretty brutal.
Yeah. So you're going to be my first, you're my entry into the sport of mixed martial arts. But now I got now that I've built my name up, I got a second guy that I'm taking on. One of my coworkers, him and his buddy, were watching the Conor Floyd fight. And I don't remember who was rooting for who, but they were rooting against each other. And they're both college football players. So they're both big dudes, very competitive. And they're talking all this trash back and forth. And so they decided to set up their own boxing match. And my coworker knew that I used to, get in fights, I guess. And so he wanted me to help him out. So I brought in all my old gear to work, and we've been going at it. We go at it every day. It's a lot of fun. But he's a freaking monster. He's probably 6'1", maybe like a cool 230, but just totally shredded.
Dang.
Yeah, he's a monster. He was a college wide receiver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you been wearing them out, or how's it been going for you?
So yes, sort of. I running through some basic stuff, and after we hit the bag for a little while, we did some shadow boxing just so he could see what it's going to be like. Again, we don't have the time to teach him because his fight, he might be fighting the guy. I think he's fighting at the end of this week, and so just to get used to it, seeing what it's like, moving your feet and everything, not getting tripped up or crossing your feet and falling over. And then we did some mitt drills, and that was really good. And so then we started sparring. And so first, I'm like, yeah, we don't need to worry about the headgear. We're going to keep it light, blah, blah, blah. And so we keep it pretty light at first. And it was good. Anytime somebody gets punched in the face for the first time after they've never been in a fight and they never got punched in the face, that's my favorite thing, is to watch people get punched in the face for the first time of their life, because it's just, they have this crazy, what just happened, and he's a tough dude. And I don't know if you remember, the same thing happened with the guy that was on the wrestling team at college that we were helping him work on his stand-up with. I don't know if you remember that, but the first...
Joseph Son, right?
You remember? Yeah, yep, Joseph Son. He was the best because he had this crazy flinch. It was like what a dog would do if you hit a dog in the face. They just totally jump back and flail their arms and everything. And that's what Joseph did, man. And Joseph was a beast. He was probably 215, just totally ripped. But recently he's down in Georgia fighting in an amateur thing. He's got a belt and all sorts of stuff where he's fighting. But it was just it was cool. I was one of the first people to ever punch him in the face, and now he could totally rip my head off if he felt like it.
Yeah, no, I remember when you and I would go in there and wrestle with him. I've only went in there a couple times with you and him, but he was definitely a monster wrestler. I remember that. Yeah,
I remember it was one time me and him were sparring, and he shot in on me, and so we had the little 4-ounce gloves on, and he had a single, but I was able to hop and stay balanced. And so I was hitting him with those side hammer fists from standing up, and I was just ripping him on the ear. And he obviously finished the takedown. And then I think our timer went off right after that, and he just rolls off of me and sits down, and he's like, "That sucked." And I was like, "Dude, what are you talking about? If that was a round, you would have won it." And he's like, "That takedown was not worth it." And he's cracking up. He was just getting punched in the ear 10 times sucks, But he really put it together, man. And he's been a beast, I guess, I think he's in Atlanta.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think you or Jordan or someone told me that he's now competing. So, that's awesome to him. I haven't heard from him from the 2 times that him and I have ever talked.
Yeah. Well, he's probably going to hear this super famous podcast and appreciate the shout out.
Yeah, look out for us,
Yeah. But my buddy that I'm working with he's been tearing it up. He was real stiff at first. I don't know if it was just because he's used to football or whatever, but he wasn't real fluid. But now he's starting to put that fluidity together, learning how to slip little punches I'm trying to throw and then countering. Mm-hmm. And so the last time we sparred, he totally teed off on me. It was he just decided to step it up, and I was not ready for that. But he realized his reach is way longer than mine, so he just started jabbing me every time I tried to come in. I ate a dozen jabs, just right in the front of my face. So he's really putting together. I think he's going to mop the floor with his buddy, so it's going to be fun to watch.
That's awesome. When is that going down?
I gotta double check. I think it's going down at the end of it's either like this coming weekend or the next weekend.
Man, this coming weekend, I'm actually going to JMU for a football game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going with that girl Brittany I was telling you about that I'm seeing. So she bought tickets for us, so we're gonna go check that out. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Nice. That's cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun, or awful. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, probably boring.
No, but getting back to the fights, did you see the Fabricio Verdum and Walt Harris fight?
No, that was one I tuned out because I figured since what Harris was his name, I guess they said his back seized up on him and he couldn't fight. But I was like, I want to see that fight, so I was kind of bummed I didn't even watch it. And then I tuned out for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I looked over and Verdum had already won.
Well, the original fight was supposed to be Fabricio Verdum and Derek the Black Beast Lewis, and Derek,
that's right.
Yeah, he was the one that actually pulled out. I think 5 hours before the fight was supposed to go down. So the guy that stepped up was Walt Harris, and he was supposed to fight that night apparently, but I think his guy fell out or something. So he stepped up, and cool that he stepped up, but he got demolished in like a minute and a half. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I was excited for the Black Beast fight. God, that dude looks like a monster, man. He had some good. I expected Verdum to beat Lewis because Verdum's obviously a legit bona fide monster. But I was real bummed when he had to drop.
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely looking to it, and I've always. Not always, but for the past year, I've been voted for the Black Beast. He ripped through Travis Brown. I don't know if you saw that or read about it, but dude, he got caught. He got it kicked in the liver or in the stomach, and he looked like he was about to get taken out. But
that shot to his liver was so funny because I was watching that fight, and he almost turns and runs away from him for a second, but then he just comes right back and dogs him. I was like, what in the world is happening?
It was really cool. I'm definitely glad that he finished that fight. I thought he was gonna get smashed by Travis Brown, but cheers to him, right?
Yeah.
And then so Verdum, he was on the guy Walt Harris's back, and then he turned it into an armbar. The other guy had no idea what was coming. Oh my gosh.
That's cool. Armbars from back is something I remember, Jeremy Angione, I think, taught me, and I've tried it dozens of times, and I have never ever. I don't think even just rolling around come close to being able to pull it off on somebody.
No, I've only tried to do. I've never done it in practice. I've tried it, but no, definitely never. Were you there?
Tough move.
Were you there on the dorm when I tried that flying armbar on the dorm, on the tile?
Oh yeah.
It did not go well.
Flying armbars is usually reserved for the more agile type of folks.
I had thought that, but I had to go for it. It's whatever.
That's right.
But then after those fights, the next one I saw was the Mighty Mouse and Ray Borg fight. Which, did you see that or read the highlights about it?
Yep. That's probably the move of the year.
Oh my gosh! For anyone that didn't see the fights, it was pretty back and forth. Even though Mighty Mouse was dominating the whole way, visibly it looked like it was going back and forth. And then I think was it in the fourth round?
Yeah. No, it might have been in the fifth. I think it was the fifth.
Yeah, it was definitely towards the end of the fight. But
it was the fifth round.
He pulled the guy he pulled him down from behind, and then the guy, if you see, his feet were literally in the air, and before he hit the ground, he was already pulling him into an armbar. It was, my gosh.
That was a terrible description of what happened, so I'll go ahead and clean it up for you. It was, he suplexed him, so he's standing behind him, pretty much flips him over, backwards, and it's like he lets go, so the dude's just in midair, and he grabs his arm and throws an armbar, and that was definitely a self-invented move. It was unbelievable. That was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I've watched that probably 3 times after the fight, and I was like, I can't even consider knowing what to do of how he did that. It was wicked.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was totally insane.
No, it was definitely a good fight. Like they went back and forth a lot, and the other guy took him down. I think 3 times maybe, and it was just it was a good back and forth fight. And then it was just delaying the inevitable. Mighty Mouse was gonna win regardless.
I was gonna say that was another fight that I didn't really care about. To me, it's like Mighty Mouse is just just eating little rodents, doesn't even care, just messing around, just totally running through people. And I thought he was like totally controlling that fight. And if you look at the stats, I mean, he absolutely destroyed him.
Dude, did you see the strike count at the end of the first round was like 62-1?
That is insane.
And then I think go ahead.
I said I do not want to get punched 62 times in 5 minutes. That's like, tough to come back from that.
And then the third round, it was like 120 something or 115 to 21. I'm like, okay, this is clearly a huge divide.
Yeah, that third round I think everybody was saying 10-8 for Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, if they could do an 11-1, that's what they should have done.
Yeah, right.
No, that was definitely it was a good match, but I wasn't as invested as the main event,
Right.
I was saying, if anyone hasn't watched the main event with Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee, it was definitely good. Like, it started off, it almost seemed like it was a huge feeling out process. Tony Ferguson wasn't as elusive as he normally is. I thought it was okay, but they just seemed like a little nervous or just feeling it out. Like, it started off strong and then ended well for Tony Ferguson via submission, a triangle. It was, incredible finish.
Yeah, that was a great. By the way, you know how a lot of times when people are training, they're looking at specific fighters that they try to emulate themselves. Mm-hmm. Have you ever done that yourself? Have you ever tried to be like, oh, I want to kind of fight like this person?
Yeah, I want to be like everybody because they're better than me.
Well, the person you need to start mimicking is Tony Ferguson, because you are just like him in personality and fighting style as well, slightly. But did you see the weigh-ins after, when they were facing off?
Well,
or not the weigh-ins. I think it was the Friday face-off.
Well, I saw the pre-weigh-in, where Kevin Lee actually missed weight the first time.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm always so surprised when wrestlers miss weight. I'm like, really? Y'all been doing this for 12 years.
By the way, if anyone doesn't know, Kevin Filiberto is a wrestling coach, so it definitely would probably irk you more than it would irk me for wrestlers out of all people to miss weight.
Yeah, but you figure a normal guy, if he's just been doing, I guess, you make weight for all the different type of combat sports, but wrestlers usually have started younger. They have more experience with it. They're used to being under the gun to make weight. So I'm always just thrown back when they just miss it.
Yeah. So,
but did you see them facing off? When Tony Ferguson, they're doing this stare down and then they turn to face the camera for pictures, and so Dana's standing in between them, and Tony Ferguson he screams and flexes his arms out real wide. Did you see that?
No, I didn't watch that.
All right, you got to pull it up. You got to find it, because that was you 100%. It was exactly something you would do. And Dana White freaked out. He just jumped in the middle real quick because he thought he was screaming at him, but he was just messing around and being an idiot, and it was hysterical.
Well, the UFC definitely missed their shot on trying to sign me. Now I'm retired.
That's right. Yeah, you let that one fall through the cracks. But you also look like Tony Ferguson because you got those big ears.
It's whatever. It's part of my life.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was a good fight, though. That was another one where, Bobby Lee, I felt like Tony Ferguson wasn't really fighting the way Tony Ferguson usually does. In the beginning, he started out kind of not like himself. And then you see as it goes on, he starts getting more fluid, and then he starts backing down Kevin. And I don't know, because Tony's real unconventional. He's willing to get punched in the face a lot. He keeps his hands down. So he needs a little while to get warmed up, it looked like. So it took him a little bit. But then I thought Kevin Lee was definitely going to win that fight. I thought he was beating him the whole time.
Yeah.
But then Tony started warming up and actually taking advantage.
There was a point where what it looked like was Tony Ferguson either got punched in the eye or he got poked in the eye, but either one Kevin Lee took advantage of, and then he swarmed him, and then Tony Ferguson, I think it was a left hook, but he dropped him, and then that was crazy. That was an incredible crazy, like 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, I think they both got dropped. I think Kevin dropped him, and then while he was swarming him, I think Tony dropped Kevin. That was wild. That was really exciting. But they're both good. I mean, I kind of think Kevin, it was like put to that test. I don't know. I don't want to say too soon because he, like I said, he did really well in that fight. Like probably could have beat him. But I think Kevin Lee, I almost kind of feel like Tony Ferguson is as good as Tony Ferguson is going to get, but I think Kevin Lee can turn into a straight-up monster. If he takes this fight, goes back, gets himself together, I think he can come up and start running through people.
He was ranked number 7, so he started chirping at Tony Ferguson. So I think that's how he got the fight, and then other people were busy. And Conor McGregor is busy, like everyone's busy. Khabib is not fighting currently, but who knows? So he took advantage of it. He called him out on air and started trash talking him. That's how he got the fight. Cheers to him.
Yeah, it was good, and he definitely helped himself like build up his own name because it was a great fight until he just got caught. But he was doing really well. Did you see that arm bar that he got out of? I thought his arm broke in half.
Ugh, I know. It looked
that was really good. He stepped over that, and I was like, "Why is he going that?" And then he's stepping over. But at first, I was like, "Oh man, he's about to lose his arm." It was tight.
No, he definitely did good, and I don't think he did anything bad. I think he just took advantage of an opportunity but jumped in a little early. But why not take advantage?
Yeah, he did good. He even said in his post-fight conference, he said he was the one that took the fight. Nobody else was really willing to take. And like if it was a decision, I think he would have had it. Well, I guess we didn't really get to see what his cardio and stuff looked like, but he was doing good. I'm excited to see him fight in the future for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He said in a post-fight interview or the post-fight conference that he said that he was getting pretty emotional, but he said he was going to take some time off. So, that would be good to see him in the future. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a good prospect.
Oh yeah. So, what do you think about Tony versus Conor?
Dude, So it's like, I don't think they could build it because they can both trash talk, but every time Tony Ferguson trash talks, it almost seems like it's like either too scripted or he's trying too hard to be the bad guy, but he's an excellent fighter. I think I was reading some polls on Twitter that people are trying to see Nate Diaz McGregor 3 over this fight.
Yeah, I bet they are. That's, Dana White, did you hear what he said about that?
He said, well, what I read was that he said there were no talks of that even happening or something, right?
Right. Yeah, he said there's no talks of that happening, and Tony Conor is what has to happen. But I don't know. I think Conor's got Dana in his pocket. I think Conor's going to fight whoever he wants to fight next.
Oh, he's going to fight whoever he wants when he wants, and he's going to make however much he wants, which is good for him.
I know, and that's what I agree 100%. And I don't think Conor Tony is going to draw enough of a paycheck for Conor. Mm-hmm. The only advantage is that they could pay Conor whatever he wants, and they could pay Tony like nothing because he's not nearly like the draw that Nate would be able to command or whatever. Because Nate's Nate's not going to go and fight Conor for what he's been fighting him for when Conor's now this crazy giant megastar. So now, if you do that fight, you got to pay everybody a little bit more because Conor's obviously, he's not going to go back and fight for peanuts. He's going to expect these crazy $1 million, contracts every time. I mean, he definitely draws the crowd though.
Yeah, he got, I think, $3 million for his last fight, and Nate Diaz got $2 million. But they did a heck of a pay-per-view. They did great, and I think the money fight would be Diaz McGregor 3, but I don't know. I think that they'll probably do McGregor Ferguson because it's fresh in everyone's mind right now.
Yeah, I think I would. This probably is talking down to the lightweights a little bit, but I would just rather see McGregor Diaz. I kind of think McGregor's going to run through Ferguson if they did fight. I don't know, so I would just rather watch the McGregor Diaz battle because that's a good fight. That they did great. Both of them were amazing fights. I think that's definitely the one I think I would prefer to see. I know that McGregor Ferguson makes sense, but I just think McGregor would almost run through him.
Yeah, and what kind of sucks about Nate Diaz, or what sucks about him at the moment, is he's losing not a lot of followers, but he's losing some because he's like waiting out for a big paycheck, and he's probably waiting for the Conor fight. But it's like, if you're not a diehard fan, like he hasn't, fought since McGregor, so it's just like he's probably gonna lose some fans and followers. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he is definitely going to lose out on. His best move would have been to take another fight in between while Conor was boxing and just destroy whoever he fought, and that way he's still coming out, saying like, I'm back from my Conor fight and I'm like at the top of my game or whatever. Can come back and say, oh look, he still got it, type of thing, and that would have been probably his best move. But that's probably a little past now if he's trying to get the next Conor fight, get that paycheck. He's got a lot of weed to smoke.
Did you hear that they're gonna make it legal for that you can do CBD oil?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw a brief article about it. It doesn't matter for me, but I'm sure he'll love it.
He'll probably still just smoke weed anyway. He doesn't care.
For sure. All right, man. You got anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to say to the listeners?
No, man. I was excited when you told me, I got a shot to be on. My first thought was, oh, he's finally going to take this podcast to the next level. And then my second thought, which is probably more rational, is he's really scraping the bottom of this barrel trying to get somebody on here. So I'm happy to be on, though.
No, man, you're getting in on ground level,
That's right. I'll be expecting that check in the mail any day now.
Oh, for sure. I got your address.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care. Have a good week, buddy.
All right, man. You too.
Later. Thanks for tuning in, y'all, you wild animals. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. If you want to get in touch or leave a comment, get at me at thewhangover@gmail.com. Until next time, cheers, y'all.